Allies will need to invest much more in defense. And that is now the work ahead of us for The Hague, to agree a new defense investment plan that will ensure we have enough resources to be able to deter and defend in this more dangerous world. I will propose an overall investment plan that will total 5% of GDP in defense investment, 3.5% of GDP for core defense spending. This is based on what it will cost to meet the new capability targets that ministers have just agreed, and 1.5% of GDP per year in defense and security-related investments like infrastructure and industry.
Jeffrey H. Fischer is a retired US Air Force colonel and international security expert. He joins us now from Vienna. Good to have you with us, Colonel. Let's start with this pressing issue of NATO defence spending. We know Donald Trump has campaigned on the European powers of NATO to increase their defence spending. He did so during his first administration as well, to the extent that he threatened to pull the US out of NATO if nothing was done on the issue. Are we finally seeing some movement on that, do you think?
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. I think you're right. I think that we are seeing movement, and I think that there's a lot of optimism right now in Brussels that the money is going to start flowing. That you're going to see defense expenditures that are in line with where I think President Trump wants them to be. I think the next big hurdle that we need to be concerned about is what are these nations going to buy? And I think that's a critical piece of the puzzle. If everyone buys artillery or if everyone buys tanks, then you really don't have a fighting formation that, as Secretary of Defense Hegseth kind of pointed out, it's like you have way too much capability in one area and not enough in the other.
Yes, and we know that the Defence Secretary Hegseth has called for an official agreement to be inked at the upcoming NATO summit in the Netherlands later this month. Do you expect we'll see that all NATO members will agree to quite a drastic increase in defence spending?
I think it's a great question. I think it's easy for the diplomats in Brussels to make claims that they're going to get to 5%. I think that the political will back in nations and getting the populations and the populace of Europe to agree to this is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for those political leaders, and I think I would be surprised if everyone got to 5%. I think everyone's going to increase. I think that's realistic. That you will see increases, but much like you, I think there's there's cause for a little bit of skepticism on whether or not everybody hits 5%.
We also know Donald Trump has been very vocal and skeptical about continuing to help to fund the Ukrainian war effort. He's trying to get the two sides to agree to some sort of a ceasefire, although by all accounts it seems that Russia simply isn't interested. Do you think NATO is also trying to, at least behind the scenes, get the US back on board in terms of their support for Ukraine?
Absolutely, 100%. And I'll tell you, I think that Donald Trump is isolating himself more and more as he takes on this position. Right? There's draft bills in both the U.S. Congress and the House and the Senate right now where there's bipartisan support for actually funding and supporting Ukraine. That the Trump administration has asked, please don't bring them to the floor and please don't have the vote because it would make him look somewhat foolish and isolated. The European Union, the Europeans, as you pointed out at the beginning of this segment, I live in Vienna. There's strong support for Ukraine in this part of the region, and I think Trump has been far too kind to Mr. Putin and given him way too many opportunities. Hopefully we can see a change in that over the next month.
Okay, Jeffrey H. Fischer, we'll have to leave it there. Great to get your thoughts as always. Thank you.